Thank you, Michael. I had to get some Kleenex. Oh, I had, how many churches have you been to where you've heard the Talking Heads and the Beatles at a sermon? Come on. We are not your typical church. Thank God. I picked, number one, both of those songs are great. I didn't pick the first one, but Being Home. As many of you know or don't know, I was in Portugal for the last couple of weeks, and it was fabulous. I picked that song because of that, but also that was the song I picked for my youngest son's wedding, that we danced to that song. Because I think it's so important for all of us to let everyone know who we love, how much they mean to us. That, we get caught up in the world and busyness and stuff, and people that mean so much to us, they might not know if we don't tell them often. So I'm going to share a little story with you. So this was in Porto. I have so many beautiful, but I'm just going to show you a couple. And I picked this. Look at the cathedrals up there. Their churches there were so magnificent. In fact, I sent Elizabeth and Dale and William a couple of pictures of the churches. And I said, this is the new Center for Spiritual Living, Porto. I said, which one do you think we should take over? And anyway, it was just so beautiful. And what was interesting about Portugal to me is the terrain reminded me a lot of California. When we landed in Lisbon and we went to Porto, and it was kind of like going through central California, the pine trees, but yet there were sycamores. It was just a magnificent. I could talk the whole hour about Portugal. I'm not going to. But the reason I wanted to start with this is because about a year ago, so those of you who don't know, July 17th last year, I fell down these stairs and broke my hip. And other things developed and so forth during that. And I came back in October. And I could have stayed off longer, but I told my doctor, no, because I basically just sit and I can do my work. It's not a lot of activity. And so I came back October 1st. And then when I came back, I started to realize that I really wasn't as happy here. It didn't feel like my home anymore in a lot of ways here at the center. And so this is kind of how I feel. There comes a time in your life when you walk away from all the drama and people who create it. You surround yourself with people who make you laugh, forget the bad, and focus on the good. Love the people who treat you right. Pray for the ones who do not. Life is too short to be anything but happy. Falling down is part of life. Getting back up is living. Right? But all of us have those moments. And so October and things just, my sister had gone to Portugal last year in about September, about the same time that we went, August. And she came back and she said, Laura, because my relatives are from Porto. That's where my grandfather came and went to Maui. And so she said, I'm going to try to get dual citizenship. She said, oh my God, the people are so fabulous. It's so inexpensive here, and it's just wonderful. So Elizabeth and I'd be sitting in the office doing our office work and just not feeling like this is home. And I told Elizabeth about what my sister said. So we said, let's plan a trip. Let's go to Porto and let's look at it. Maybe we'll buy like some acreage and have like a vineyard. Or, we were getting all excited. We were like planning that. Well, and I mentioned it to my sons. And my younger son said, well, Mom, let's all go. Let's, Ryan and Corey, my grandkids, let us go. And I didn't want to. And I go, okay. So I said, Elizabeth, my boys are going to go with their family, Well, then my sister heard about it. And then it was my sister, her husband, and my niece, her daughter, was going. So Elizabeth, I said, well, maybe next year I'll go and scope it out and see if it's, And but that was what we, I said, let's buy a big piece of land, maybe have a couple of houses on it, so when our kids come to visit, you can come. They can come and stay with us, and we'll be there. And we were ready to go. And then I realized there's no place like home. And so that's when, Reverend Dale and I and William and Elizabeth said, we need our home back. We need it to feel like it did. Have you ever had those times in your life where when you know something doesn't fit, but you can't just be there and be miserable with it? And knowing that for the highest good, that song that Dr. Tom, about this was his home. This is what he started. Those of you who were here with Dr. Tom, there was a time when Dr. Tom retired. We got a minister that he picked, and it didn't work out. And then he wanted to come back, and the board was a little hesitant about letting him back. And Dr. Joe really fought for him, and he did come back. And it was a weird time then because Terry Cole Whitaker had just opened up a center in Palm Springs and stuff. And Dr. Tom really fought for this center, as did Dr. Joe. And so there are things in your life that when you know it's right, you have to fight for it. Not fight for it in like, oh, I'm going to get you, but fight for it because this is what I know is right. This is what I know is right for my family. This is what I know, and we had this great board. We have all these people, and it wasn't an easy transition for us, for all of you, too, when we made that decision that this is our home and we need it to feel like our home again. And we weren't feeling that. And so, I think, I don't know, years ago I had an Akashic reading, which is like somebody reads your past lives. There were 3 of them. I don't remember one, but I remember the 2 of them. One of them was I was a Jewish rabbi. And I traveled in a little buggy and stuff, and I went around the countryside, and I preached, and I was a rabbi. But in one of my lives, I was a soldier fighting for a religious war. Didn't tell me which one. And I wouldn't deny my faith. And I was thrown in a prison. And I had a wife and 2 children. And I died feeling so guilty about leaving them, but I had to stand for what I believed in. And so that's what happened. And I often think sometimes that my 2 sons that I have, they came back so we could be a family again. I don't know, that's just Laura making stuff up. But anyway, look at your life and know when you know something is right, and even though you know it's going to be difficult or whatever, follow your heart. Each one of you that is here today, something drew you here. Maybe you were forced to come. Somebody dragged you here, a friend or whatever. You're like, okay, I'll go, get you off my back. I'll go. But each one of you here, we are so special. Everybody is special. Even the ones out, everybody is special. But we need to touch that heart. That's why, to me, the heart is such an important thing. That's where our love comes. That's where our energy comes from. That's how we change the world, that one heart at a time. In Portugal, the people were it was just beautiful. The art, the cathedrals there were amazing, except for one, that in the sanctuary, it was bones. Their wall, I should have put a picture, but their bones, there were skulls in the wall stacked up and leg bones, and they had been fighting, I don't know all the history, but they were fighting for some war, something for their country or something, and that's where they buried them. And so I thought, if people can do that, that they're willing to fight for what they believe in. That is beautiful. And when I was in Portugal, I loved it because, like I said, everybody was so nice. The streets there are, I'd have to get a little car if I lived there because the streets were so small, so thin. And really they were like, think of your driveway and maybe adding 3 or 4 feet. And 2 cars going down it. Most of them were one way. But it was lovely. And you'd get up in the morning and we'd go a couple of doors down from where we were staying. And there'd be a bakery with fresh croissants and cappuccino. And it was beautiful. And everybody was just lovely. And one of the places we stopped, the man was helping us with our luggage out of our car. And he said to me, "Ma'am, are you enjoying your time in Portugal?" I go, "Oh, yes, it's beautiful, so beautiful." And I said, it's so nice. Everybody here is so nice, and there's not the politics, and everything is wonderful. And he goes, "Ma'am," he said, "we have our issues too." And I'm in Portugal, and you guys have a hurricane? I was like, I'm in Portugal, and I am checking in my news, there's a hurricane. I first got a thing from Scott saying, I don't know if we can have service and stuff. And I'm like, wow, I leave Portugal, they have another hurricane. So I don't know if it's me or what. But anyway, my point is there's no place like home. And when things are going bad, don't use that as an excuse to give up. Instead, use it as a motivation to push harder. Never give up. And that's kind of what the 4 of us and the board did. We said, we're not giving up, because I was really ready to walk away from all this. And there was a part of me that knew that if things didn't change in 2 years, we wouldn't have our home. We wouldn't have this home. And so we talked about it, and it was a very difficult decision that we came to. And I just want you to know, thanks to you and your support, we're now putting some money in savings now. We're not dipping into savings every month. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so at that point, I still had my trip for Portugal planned, but it was a family thing. But our focus was, this is home. Not going to let this go because of Dr. Tom and Dr. Joe. And we're going to do whatever we can. And that's what you have to do in your life. I have a niece that was on our trip, Daniela, my sister's daughter, and Daniela's 26, and she went to FITM in New York, and she started her own design company of clothing and so forth. She's 20. She doesn't dress the way I do. I would look at it and go, okay, but I know that's what the young people wear. She has influencers wearing her clothes. I guess that's a really good thing. I don't know that much about that. But anyway, she was so sweet on this trip because I had given her some books to read a while ago. She goes, "Auntie," she said, I want some books to read. She said, because she said, it's not easy getting in the design business and so forth. She said, but I know I'm going to make it. She said, I have this vision of what my new house will look like and this, that. And she sees it. And I go, Dee Dee, that's what I call her, Dee Dee, because it's Daniela DiGiorgio. Isn't that a great name, DiGiorgio? But she didn't, anyway. I said, that sounds like a clothing DiGiorgio, but it's Jen Giorgio is her line because she had a partner. Anyway, I said, Dee Dee, I said, don't give up on your dream. No matter how hard it is, keep seeing that vision. Keep knowing that vision. Keep feeling that vision. And it has to come about. And that's what I want to tell all of you. Keep whatever is going on in your life. Just know it's already yours. Feel it, taste it, know it. And so never give up. And I was never going to give up on this place. And then let every decision you make, every goal you set, and every aspect of your life be guided by what sparks joy. So what is it in your life that causes joy in your life? Even though it seems like, I can't have that, stop it. Stop it right now and say, declare it and know it. That's how powerful you are. That's how powerful you are. See it, breathe it, know it. Live every day knowing that you already have it. Things come up, that's okay. Then that's just what was meant to happen, and it gives you some attention of maybe what you need to pay attention to. So, but live that. We are divine beings, each and every one of us. And those of you that are here for the first time, just know that something drew you here. I remember, like I've shared before, I was just started my spiritual journey. I was reading Marianne Williamson at that time, and I came here to go to the bookstore one day because I saw a bookstore, and I thought, oh, that church might have some spiritual books I might be interested. And then I came back that Sunday. It wasn't for me. But then a few months later, then I wind up coming back in about this time. Classes were starting the next Sunday after I was here, and I thought, well, I'll take some classes. And that, took a year of Science of Mind 100, took a second year of Science of Mind 200. Then I took 2 years of practitioner training. Then I thought, well, I'll just take the ministerial, but I won't be one. Took another 2 years of that, and I want to be a minister here. And I've been the assistant here since 2011. I've been the assistant minister here under with Dr. Joe, but I was a minister here with Dr. Tom and practitioner here. And this has been my spiritual home. And, and I honor that I was raised Catholic. What was beautiful, when I was in Portugal, the churches there are magnificent. But I remember being also the artwork and stuff, and you think, God, how do these people, the carvings, they don't have sandblasters and things like what Reverend William has. And by the way, Dr. Dale, I want to congratulate you. I heard that when I was on vacation. I was so deserving of it. Anyway, and I just, the artwork and I remember being in Catholic school and the nuns teaching us that in the olden days when they'd build these big, beautiful cathedrals, the people in the village or whatever, they were required to work on this. If they wanted to go to heaven, they better get there and do their share. That was part of their key into heaven, And it is beautiful. I have to say there is a beautiful. But set your goals. That's what I said, Dee Dee, you can do it. I have faith in you. And I have faith in each one of us. I have faith coming back here. I have faith. On my trip, there are people on my family that have different political views and like to share them. And that's okay. They're entitled to their views. And I'm not going to argue with them. I'm just going to listen and hold them in prayer. But that's the thing. We're all different. We all see things from a different perspective. And that's what makes the world so unique with all of us. We were called here. We volunteered, I believe, on a higher level to be here right now with all the changes that are going on. And our job as soldiers and as little Jewish rabbis traveling around is just to spread love and to be that love. And don't be pushed by your problems. Be led by your dreams. That's what I want you to remember. Dream big. Set goals. And then take action. And sometimes that action isn't easy. It's not easy. But dream big. My dream is for this center is by next year in January, we're back to 2 services like we used to be. I want that to be your dream too. I want you, the people that you touch in your life, have them come here. Feel that. I mean, to me, I can't walk in the sanctuary without feeling the love that we carry and seeing you all and seeing This is my spiritual family. And so dream big, set goals, and take action. And for me, home is where the heart is. That's my family that was on the trip. And that was when we were in Algarve, I rented a boat, and we went into the caves and stuff. And I thought, as I was there in Portugal, as much as I loved it, and I could live there easily, I would be happy living there, but I'd be halfway around the world from that, from my family, and from my spiritual family. And home is where the heart is. And my heart is with both my boys, my grandkids, my sister, my grandchildren, and this center. This means so much to me. And I just want you to know that you are such a big part of that. I look out here and I see all my other children, and I just want you to look at your life. Pay attention to what's important to you, the people that are important to you, the ones that, don't focus on the ones that are a pain, Send them love. You don't have to live with them. If you live with them, then love them and send them love. And change your attitude about that. Change your attitude knowing that they're on their journey and the way maybe they're behaving or not behaving the way you'd like. It's an opportunity for you. It's an opportunity to you to live your life and allow them to live their life. But for me, as beautiful as Portugal was, yes, I could live. If I could get my whole family over there to live with me, I'd go in a heartbeat. But I know their life is here and there are other connections and so forth. So my message is follow your heart. Listen to your heart. Don't listen to the brain that says, nah, you can't do this. Nah, you can't have that. No, you tell your mind you have it. You tell your mind it's already yours and watch it happen. And every day say, I am so grateful for whatever it is you want. I'm so grateful for my health. I'm so grateful for my prosperity. I'm so grateful for the joy in my life. Say it. And I guarantee you, you'll be living it. And so it is.
Yes, definitely.